You're listening to The Voluntary Life, where you can hear ideas for finding freedom in an unfree world. Visit thevoluntarylife.com to connect with the show and hear all past episodes. Here's your host, Jake.
Hi everyone, it's Jake here. Welcome to The Voluntary Life. In this episode, I'm sharing a chapter from my book, Becoming an Entrepreneur. This is chapter 3, taken from the audiobook version of the book. If you're interested in the book, you can get it on Amazon, in ebook and paperback format, and you can also get the audiobook from Audible. There's links to that on my website, thevoluntarylife.com. And the title of this chapter is You Provide the Purpose. If you're interested in the topic of this chapter, finding purpose in your business, I've just released bonus episode 53 of The Voluntary Life. That bonus episode is called Make Your Business Stand for Something. And in that bonus episode, I'm talking more about this topic. It's a discussion with someone who has a business. So we're talking about applying these ideas of finding purpose in your business to a real business. If you're interested in getting that bonus episode, you can do so by becoming a patron on Patreon. Patrons are supporting listeners who make The Voluntary Life possible. And if you enjoy the show, and especially if you're a long-term listener, I would really appreciate you helping to support the show. There are now 53 bonus episodes that you can get by becoming a patron, so that's over a year of getting an extra episode per week. Or alternatively, you can just binge listen to 53 extra episodes. So to find out more about that, you can click on the link that I'll put in the show notes, or go to my website, thevoluntarylife.com, or directly to my Patreon page, which is at patreon.com/The Voluntary Life. And now here's chapter 3 from my book, Becoming an Entrepreneur. Chapter 3. You Provide the Purpose. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men to gather wood, divide the work, and give orders. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I started a business with only a vague idea of what it was for. I came to understand that my most important responsibility was to provide a clear vision for the venture. The essential element of every successful business is an entrepreneur with an inspiring purpose. The technical details of your business will change and develop throughout the life of the business, but your purpose remains consistent. We're not taught to think about purpose in this way. The employee mentality is fundamentally a follower mentality. The default assumption is that somebody else makes the big decisions. Our job is to follow them. This can lead to a lifetime spent looking for the next boss to follow. It's time we all unlearned our follower conditioning and started thinking for ourselves again. As entrepreneurs, we are our own leaders. Chief Enthusiasm Inspirer. If a business is to succeed and prosper, its purpose must inspire enthusiasm in others. As an entrepreneur, you need to inspire enthusiasm so effectively that people are willing to risk money to fund your venture, to forgo other opportunities in order to work for you, and to vote with their wallets by paying money to buy what you offer. Seeing enthusiasm in others is what tells you that there's a market for what you're doing. If you have a purpose that inspires enthusiasm, then all other problems are mere details. If your purpose doesn't inspire enthusiasm, every little detail will become an insurmountable problem. As a business founder, you will be the prime source of enthusiasm for the venture. It is your responsibility to ensure that the venture itself is doing something that inspires enthusiasm in its customers, its staff, and its stakeholders. Your role is to make sure that the purpose is evident in everything that the business does and in all the decisions you make. If you become an entrepreneur, your real job title is Chief Enthusiasm Inspirer. When you start a business, the only thing that you really have to sell is your enthusiasm. All that you have is the belief in your purpose, the conviction that you can make it work, and the optimism about your prospects. This can-do attitude is vital, especially given just how little else there is in the beginning. In other words, you need to be a leader for yourself. A leader keeps the business on purpose and serves as the ultimate source of enthusiasm for it. Your business is not about you. As an entrepreneur, you need to focus on what will inspire others because ultimately, your business is not about you. If your only motivation to start a business is to provide yourself with a source of passive income, I believe you will find it very hard to inspire others. I'm all for making a fortune, but the desire to make oneself rich is not an inspiring goal for anybody else. It's not a cause for which other people will storm the barricades. You will only inspire enthusiasm if you can define a purpose for your business that other people can understand and support. If your business has a meaningful reason for existing, then you will capture people's emotional commitment to it. How are you going to make other people's lives better? For the business to work, you need to make sure it's going to deliver something that other people will want. It may seem counterintuitive, but when you put aside your ego and concentrate on the higher goal of your business, you end up with more confidence in yourself. When you really care about the purpose of your business, you become an unself-conscious agent of that purpose, focused on seeing it through. The more time I spent thinking about what my business needed in order to succeed, the less time I wasted worrying about whether or not I was a success. That made me more proactive and more confident in myself. Find something that you believe in. By doing so, you will strengthen your belief in yourself. A purpose that you care about. Being an entrepreneur means that you get to decide what to work on, so there's no better opportunity to choose a purpose that you really care about. This is one of the great benefits of starting a business. You only get to do your best work in life if you work on something that is truly meaningful to you. It is horribly depressing to work on something that you don't care about. How many thousands of times do you tell others about what you do for a living? Each of those conversations with customers, colleagues, friends, and family is either an opportunity to talk about the most meaningful purpose that you can imagine, or to talk about how you spend so much of your precious time on something that doesn't matter to you. Only if you believe in the purpose of your business yourself will you inspire enthusiasm in others. Entrepreneurs have to be able to talk convincingly about their ventures, even in the face of setbacks that sometimes feel exhausting and demoralizing. If you believe in your business, selling to customers is simply the fulfillment of your purpose. You're not going to have confidence in selling a mediocre product that doesn't really make anyone's life better. This will be obvious to customers. However, if you are genuinely enthusiastic about your business and you believe in the value of your product, customers will sense your authenticity and they will believe in your product too. The purpose of your business has to be something that gets you out of bed in the morning when the going gets tough. If you're going to do all this hard work, it has to be something that you feel is worth doing with your life. Ask yourself if you find it meaningful enough to give you stamina through the inevitable setbacks. As Nietzsche said, give man a why and he can bear almost any how. If you're doing something truly fulfilling, something you believe in for its own sake, then you get fulfillment every day in the act of doing it, regardless of your financial end game. If you find purpose in your work that is so important to you that nobody can rob you of your own enthusiasm in pursuit of it, then you cannot lose. Your time will be well spent, whatever the outcome, because you'll be working on something that you value. How to choose a purpose. If you find it hard to identify an inspiring purpose for your business, you might be making it harder for yourself than it needs to be. Your purpose does not have to be so lofty that you can never realistically pursue it. Many people would like to start a business, but they have adopted unattainable standards for themselves regarding the great deeds that they would have to perform with their venture. They might get deep satisfaction from their ability to deliver value in some area, but if they see nothing obviously worthy in what they are good at, then they can't get excited about making it a business. In this way of thinking, it's somehow okay just to work an office job if you're working for somebody else, but if you were to be an entrepreneur yourself, then your company would have to be saving the world. What pressure! It's no wonder that some people find it hard to get started in business. The idea of taking responsibility for their own venture has become a moral challenge. Perhaps you've built up the idea in your mind that your very best work, your life's work, would be something that all would recognize instantly as commendable. In this way of thinking, starting a business is only a worthwhile pursuit if it does something that is obviously a great betterment to humanity. You might be concerned that if you go into business without this great sense of purpose, you will only get caught up in a superficial motivation to make money. This is where your ethics come into the picture. To my mind, the key to becoming a successful entrepreneur on a personal level is to live according to your ethical code. Although your business might not change the world in the grandest way, you will make a change. And perhaps most importantly, creating and running your business will change you for the better. You will spend every day helping others and building positive, reciprocal relationships. Through this, you will learn the valuable lessons necessary for growing a business someday that truly reflects your life's deepest calling. If you create genuine, ethical relationships with your customers, you will have a positive impact on the world, even if your business's core purpose is not grandiose. Some people call themselves social entrepreneurs in order to emphasize that their focus is not just on profit, but on solving a social problem. But the fact is that all entrepreneurs who act with basic ethics solve social problems. In fact, that's what entrepreneurship is all about. What is a social problem anyway? It's just a living condition that people wish to change. It could be anything that makes people unhappy in their lives. Solving a social problem, therefore, means changing people's conditions, giving them more resources and options. That's exactly what all entrepreneurs do. In this sense, the people who created the first refrigerators were social entrepreneurs, as were the people who created the first personal computers. On a more basic level, the person who made the first pizza delivery service available in your neighborhood was a social entrepreneur too. We need resources to solve any social problem, but resources are scarce. Scarcity is the most fundamental social problem of all. It's the unifying mega problem, our limited resources. Any particular limited resource, such as time, technology, or energy, is interrelated to all the other limited resources. All social problems are subsets of this scarcity problem. If we had unlimited resources, we'd have no social problems. The extent to which we can increase our resources is the extent to which we can solve anything. Therefore, anyone interested in solving social problems must look at how we can generate additional resources and make them available to society. Although many people assume that things will always just somehow keep getting better, resources don't increase by themselves. If you want to help humanity, you can't take increasing wealth and development for granted. The only way to truly solve social problems is to generate additional resources. As long as you act with basic ethics, then your actions as an entrepreneur will help to make the world better, even if you are only creating a local pizza delivery business. There is no need to agonize over how you can do good in the world. All you need to do is go out there and generate value that makes customers happy. If you can do that without being unethical, you've contributed to chipping away at the biggest, baddest mega problem that humanity faces. You can free up some resources in the world by making your customers' lives a little easier or more enjoyable. You'll make them more productive and, in their turn, they will have more chance to do their bit to work on generating more resources for humanity. That is how the world gets better. Expressing your purpose. A vital skill for every entrepreneur is the ability to explain one's purpose in a way that is easy to understand. Nobody is going to be enthusiastic about your offering if it's not clear what your business is all about. You need an elevator pitch for your business if you want to inspire people with your purpose. An elevator pitch is a summary that is so concise you could explain it to anyone who happens to travel in an elevator with you. If you only had the time it takes to travel a few floors, could you summarize your startup's purpose? Expressing your purpose might take some time and might evolve as your business evolves. It's not easy, and it's far outside the employee mentality in which we've been trained. Most entrepreneurs have an intuition about it without being able to express the vision clearly. David Allen, the productivity expert and creator of the Getting Things Done method, observed this about purpose in business. I've yet to come across a new organization that was confident enough that it could express in full awareness its mission and purpose and could state it clearly any sooner than 5 years from its beginnings. The purpose is certainly there from the start in the form of the fire in the belly of the founders who have the commitment to bring it to life, but to express it in a tangible, conscious, and intellectually definable form is usually a long-term process, requiring a depth of experience and seasoned intention to understand and expand the DNA of what drives the enterprise. Don't get stressed out about not being able to clearly express your purpose in the very beginning of your business. You may need to become conscious of it by the doing of the business itself. The very experience of getting your business going clarifies your purpose. There are some techniques that you can use to help clarify and express your purpose. The traditional way of expressing a company's purpose is as part of the mission statement. Stephen Covey popularized the idea of the mission statement in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, as a way to clarify the purpose of an organization by writing it down. Although the intention is good, mission statements themselves are often wordy and uninspiring. They often try and say so much that they end up being too long to effectively communicate anything at all. If making a mission statement totally clarifies your core purpose, good for you. As an alternative, you can try Guy Kawasaki's idea of creating a mantra. A mantra defines your business in literally 3 words. As an example, he suggests that the owners of Wendy's, the US restaurant chain, should replace their corporate speak mission statement with 3 words that clarify their purpose: healthy, fast food. That's the kind of simplicity that you need in order to explain your purpose in an inspiring way. I found it very hard to get down to such a condensed explanation of what my business stood for. We had struggled with wordy explanations for years before we were able to explain simply that we provided pedestrian movement consulting. That really worked because it made it sound like what we did was part of a well-established field, even though there was no such thing at the time. Making the world a better place. When people think about making the world better, they usually think first about politics. That's what I learned about in school, a long list of rulers, politicians, and political activists who did great deeds. But politics isn't the way the world gets better, and activists are not the real revolutionaries. The real revolutionaries are the entrepreneurs. All economic and social progress comes from entrepreneurship. It was entrepreneurs who created the advanced environments that we live in and the amazing products that we use. Indeed, entrepreneurs are ultimately responsible for the social changes that have resulted from all the opportunities that these developments have given us. Thanks to entrepreneurs, we have the privilege to live in a time when most of us don't fear starvation, as the majority of people did for almost all of human history. Here's how to identify a business purpose that truly inspires enthusiasm. Do something that improves the lives of others and thereby makes the world a better place. It doesn't have to be massive. You don't have to aspire to be Richard Branson, who started his first business when he was in school and by the age of 22 had founded the company that became the Virgin Group, now comprising over 400 businesses. My company was tiny. It wouldn't even show up on the radar when compared to companies that you have heard of. But it was doing something that helped others, which I strongly believed in. That's all any entrepreneur needs. Your business purpose doesn't have to involve the alleviation of obvious and direct misery, because every effort to make life easier and increase resources helps every other effort to do so. Solving social problems is a global team effort undertaken by everyone who runs a business ethically. You can always find something to do that you think will improve other people's lives in some way. When was the last time that you felt frustrated at how something was done? I was annoyed most times I wanted to cross the street as a pedestrian. I encountered massively inconvenient crossings with buttons that I had to press in order to ask permission to walk. What makes you feel outraged? If you put your mind to it, every day you will notice a senseless waste of human effort in the way that people have to do things now. It doesn't have to be a new product or service. You might see an opportunity to reimagine an existing service by making it cheaper, or by creating a friendlier customer experience. Choose a goal that makes you feel excited about the possibilities of joy, pleasure, and love that you can unleash through a new way of doing things. So much is going to change about your business once you get it going that you need something underneath that you can truly believe in. When you are working on something that you think is worthwhile, it will get you out of bed in the morning. The fear of failure that every entrepreneur experiences doesn't go away, but if you really believe in what you're doing because it brings more happiness to other people and thereby improves the world, however specific and small that improvement is, then you'll feel the fear and do it anyway. If you do become an entrepreneur, you will be one of the real revolutionaries. If you do it right, you will change the world. Here are the 3 most important things to remember about finding purpose in business. 1. Your job as an entrepreneur is to be chief enthusiasm inspirer for a purpose that others can rally to. 2. If you choose a purpose for your business that you genuinely care about, it will keep you going during the hard times. 3. Find a way to express your purpose as simply as possible, ideally in 3 words.
Thank you for listening to The Voluntary Life. If you like this podcast, please show your support by becoming a patron of The Voluntary Life on Patreon. Your support will help to grow and improve the show, and you'll get access to a treasure trove of rewards, including bonus episodes. Visit thevoluntarylife.com to learn more.